I want to focus our attention this morning on a very important rally that is going to take place at the United Nations and in New York in just 12 days. It's an annual rally that Iranian Americans gather together for every year to speak out against the Iranian regime and President Rouhani and the number of executions, the deplorable record of human rights, the oppression of women. And I want to read to you a press release about this rally. In fact, right after this rally finishes, hopefully the next day, I will be able to talk to my dear friend Donya, who is a participant in the rally. She attends every year, and she is very active in this rally with the youth of Iran. And so I really look forward to that interview. Just in about a little less than 2 weeks, she'll be here on the Cross in the Desert to give a recap of what happened at the rally. We'll discuss the results and the experiences. I also have a good friend, Only Sion, who has traveled to Paris for the annual rally and should be there probably in New York to join them as well. But thousands of Iranian Americans and their American friends will gather in New York City to protest Iranian regime President Hassan Rouhani's presence at the United Nations General Assembly and call for regime change in Iran. Now, this rally is organized by the Association of Iranian Americans in New York, a member of the Organization of Iranian American Communities. The three-day program includes a September 20th, 2017 rally outside the UN headquarters, as well as street acts and a photo exhibition to commemorate the anniversary of the 1988 massacre of 30,000 political prisoners in Iran. Protesters at the rally will urge the international community to evaluate Rouhani on his deeds, not his deceptive demeanor or words. They will emphasize the ever-escalating discontent in Iran. Iranians struggle with addiction, and around 18 million people live below the poverty line. Yet, on December 31st, 2015, President Rouhani ordered his armed forces to quickly and significantly increase their missile capability. Parallel to the regime ballistic weapons program and terrorism across the Middle East, the number of executions in Iran has skyrocketed during Rouhani's presidency. In July of this year alone, at least 100 Iranians were executed. Individuals who served in his previous administration and those now being picked as ministers not only perpetuated the current barbarism, but also had a major role in the mass executions of 1988. His choice for justice minister for the last 4 years, Mustafa Pour Mohammadi, was a member of Tehran's infamous Death Commission. He was replaced this term by Alireza Aviai, who was directly involved in the 1988 massacre of political prisoners in Iran's Khuzestan province. Rouhani's deeds are indeed an affront to modern civilization and highlight the failure of Western appeasement policies vis-a-vis Iran, while applauding the growing international awareness of Rouhani's contempt for democracy and human rights and his unsavory role in the growing instability in the Middle East. Iranian Americans will emphasize the regime change that is needed in Iran. It is imperative and it's also achievable by means of military interference, but from Iran's own people and their organized resistance, which is fully prepared to facilitate that change. Our community members, the congressional representatives, human rights defenders, and their interfaith supporters will also attend and call on U.S. Ambassador Nikki Haley to refer the 1988 massacre to the UN Security Council. This is a huge event, and I have witnessed this from my Facebook page for the last, 3 years. And it's extremely well organized. They do a mock reenactment of the situation in 1988 when Khomeini, who was still in power, ordered the mass execution of 30,000 political prisoners. And to this day, there are so many families that have no idea where their loved ones are buried. They were quickly hanged and buried in mass graves in 1988, and this absolute genocidal activity has to be made aware. I wrote about this in my book, Rouhani, A Beautiful Fragrance. I talked about what Khomeini did in 1988 in this horrendous massacre of political prisoners. My good friend Donya Jam will be there, and she will be with her friends, and there's always many, many great pictures I'll be posting on my Facebook page. Now, last year, I know one of the commemorators was Representative Joe Lieberman, former senator, and he was there and gave a speech on Iran and human rights and freedom. So I look forward to this year, and I wanted to make reference to this rally to let you know that I will be covering it. I wish I could go there in person. I wish it was possible, and one of these years, God willing, I will be there to celebrate freedom with my Iranian American friends and also to bring awareness to the continued human rights atrocities that go on there.